Hello world and welcome to this week's Geek Movie News, starting off this week with some news about a number of different Marvel projects. First up, some news about AntMan. Now, Edgar Wright, the writer and director who's been linked with the project for quite some time, has finally confirmed that yes, AntMan is coming and he has just under 3 years to get it into theatres. Now, Edgar Wright, most famous for his work with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost on projects such as Shaun of the Dead. He's also worked on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, has come out and stated that he wants this project to feel not only part of the cinematic universe, but as an origin story, very much its own piece. And that's one of the things he's really been working hard on. Also, he thinks that coming into the project after working on things like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, he is much better at the visual effects side that will be needed for this movie. Fantastic news. Hopefully they can keep it fairly close to the comic book as has happened in other Marvel movies. And yeah, excited about Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Next up, some Guardians of the Galaxy news. And that is that Star-Lord has been cast. Chris Pratt, most famous for his roles in Parks and Recreation and Zero Dark 30, has been cast as the main member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And he beat off some well-known actors to get this role as well. People like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Lee Pace, Jim Sturgis were all up for this role. So it's a big deal to have Chris Pratt finally announced. None of the other characters like Groot and Rocket Raccoon and Gamora have been confirmed casting yet. Plenty of rumours going round, as I said recently. But this is a big step in the right direction for Guardians of the Galaxy. Some video game and movie news, with the news that Paul Walker will be shaving his head and donning a barcode to take the role of Agent 47 in a reboot of the Hitman franchise. Now, Fox International Productions want to go down the reboot route because the last movie that came out in 2007, they think it's too long to wait for a sequel, despite the fact the last movie on a $24 million budget made $100 million in the box office. And to be fair, it was a fairly average movie. I have more hope for this movie because the script has been written by A Good Day to Die Hard writer Skip Woods and Predators writer Michael Finch. Hopefully they can get a fantastic action, espionage, stealth movie, very similar to the amazing video games. In particular, if you haven't played the newest game or the HD trilogy that's just been released, go ahead and play them. Get into this character, he's fantastic and it's a really good series. On the big screen, ASAP. In a move that is making J.J. Abrams seem like the Guillermo del Toro of science fiction, he's teaming up with Gabe Newell of Valve to turn Half-Life and Portal into live-action movies. Now, this is fantastic news. As we all know, video games to movie translations aren't always the best. They've suffered a little bit in particular. I know people are going to mention Street Fighter 2, but I think that someone of the ability level of Abrams, with the guidance of the man himself, Gabe Newell, could have two fantastic properties on the big screen ASAP. Maybe it's just me, but I think it'd be brilliant to try and see a movie from the actual viewpoint, first-person viewpoint of the main character, and that character not talking. I mean, probably not going to happen, but you know, it could work. And isn't it going to be hilarious that it's more likely to see a movie of both of these franchises come out before you get a third game? Lakeshore Entertainment are working on an adaptation of the Luna Brothers comic book, The Sword. The series, which ran for 24 issues between 2007 and 2010, has a very strange plotline about a paraplegic woman who is seemingly normal. And out of the blue, 3 of her siblings that she's never heard of before turn up looking for a magical sword. When she doesn't tell them where it is, they murder her family and leave her in a house which is burning down. She finds the magical sword, gains superpowers, and basically goes on a revenge mission. Bizarre storyline, could be very, very interesting in the movie, and I'm looking forward to see what they can do with it. Some big Star Wars news this week, and that is the fact that Disney's confirmed they will be working on Star Wars movies outside of the main numbered movies. And that 2 are going to be going into production pretty quickly. One, a film focusing on the bounty hunter Boba Fett, and the second focusing on the life of a young Han Solo. Both of these projects, for me as a Star Wars fan, are fantastic. These are the kind of projects that we want to see. I know there's a lot of trepidation about a young Solo movie, like who is going to play a younger version of Harrison Ford, and do we really need to see what happened to him before the actual movies with so much expanded fiction? But I think it's perfect. It's right for the pick, and there is so much expanded fiction about the character which can be adapted into a movie or a series of movies if we get the right actor involved, and please, please don't let that be Shia LaBeouf. As for Boba Fett, a character that all true Star Wars fans love, and that's why so much expanded fiction has been written about him. That's why so many people cosplay as him, and so many toys of this character who is so well loved. Also, Lawrence Kasdan, the co-writer of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, is returning to actually co-write some of these movies. Now, it's not been confirmed whether he will do the side projects or the main project, but this is fantastic news. The guy's got serious pedigree, and he helped rein in George Lucas for those 2 movies. This is all positive news. This is all stuff Star Wars fans want to hear. Let's hope that Disney can do a good job of it. The Hollywood Reporter claims that 2 big names are in talks to appear in Gareth Edwards' Godzilla movie. Those names are Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Olsen, who, if they accept, will become the stepfather and girlfriend of the star Aaron Johnson's character in the movie. Now, both are absolutely fantastic. Cranston, in particular, is brilliant at both dark, gritty roles and comedy, so can add both of these elements to the movie. I'm excited the more and more I hear about this Godzilla movie, and God, it can't be any worse than the last one. Warner Brothers is developing a historical epic called The Lost Legion, and they want Kurt Johnstad, the guy who wrote the 300 movies, to write the screenplay. According to Deadline, the movie will be about the first encounter between 2 of the most powerful dynasties in the whole of history, the Roman Empire and the Han Dynasty of ancient China. And the story is based on a recent actual archaeological discovery, which shows that this, which was considered to be a myth for a long time, could have actually happened. So fantastic if we can finally work out a newly discovered piece of historical fact and then get it on the big screen and milk it for all it's worth. With Die Hard 5, A Good Day to Die Hard, set to release in cinemas on Valentine's Day. That's right, guys, you can take your loved one to go and see what will be a perfect date movie on that lovely day. It has been announced by Bruce Willis that another movie is already in the works. Now, there's no director or screenwriter or anything actually attached to it at the moment officially, but the movie is in development and Willis will be in it. So all those worried that he was going to be killed off in this movie, there is no need to worry. Die Hard 6 will have Bruce once again saying, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." Ryan Gosling's How to Catch a Monster, a film described as a modern-day noir fairy tale, has some really interesting cast members signed on, as well as Gosling possibly appearing in it himself as well as directing. Christina Hendricks and Matt Smith, that's right guys, Doctor Who Matt Smith, will be appearing in this movie. Eva Mendes is also in negotiations to appear, and if he keeps putting big names like this together and manages to pull off a fantastic directorial debut, this could be an interesting project. Fox have announced that Night of the Museum 3 is in development and should be in cinemas by Christmas of 2014. They've also announced that the director, Sean Levy, who's directed the last 2 movies, and Ben Stiller are definitely signed on for this project. If you're a fan of this franchise, you'll be very excited. Fox are big fans of this franchise because the first movie made $250 million and the second made $177 million. So they'll be hoping to do the same with the third, no doubt. Finally this week, Universal Pictures, going down the unnecessary remake route, they want to make a 3D animated version of The Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, if you haven't seen the amazing Ron Howard directed, Jim Carrey starring 2000 movie, then have you been living in space on the moon under a rock for the last 13 years? It's fantastic. It's on nearly every Christmas and you should watch it. Even if it's not Christmas, it's very, very funny. Universal obviously seeing money in this movie after the successful animated movie The Lorax are going to remake it and hopefully have it in cinemas as quickly as possible. Noted animation veteran and commercial director Peter Candeland is set to direct this movie. No news on any screenplay, adaptation, or who will actually voice any of the characters, but if you're going to make it and you don't have Carrie voicing the actual Grinch, then I'm not going to watch it. Okay guys, as always, thanks for watching. Down there's the like button. Click on that if you like this. Share this video with all of your friends. Favourite it if you really liked it. In the description box below is a link to my Facebook, my Twitter and my Tumblr. Follow me, find out what's coming up on the world of this channel and me in general. Also, comment boxes down there. Leave me a comment or maybe a video response. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're excited about any of the news from this week's show. A link to last week's show is there. Click out and watch it. And also a link to last week's Geek TV news is there. Click that and watch that. Also, this week's Geek TV news should be up and running tomorrow. But until next time, guys, au revoir.